Special good morning to our listeners and viewers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Especially those of you via Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9. Good morning to you. Also, those of you via GBN TV, whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channel 20, good morning. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. It's the start of a brand new month, the month of August. It's the first day of the month within the year 2023. I'm your host, GT. I'll be with you for the next hour. It's Opposition Tuesday here on To The Point this morning, which usually we do have a representative from the opposition party here on the program. Our representative this morning is Senator Norland Clark. Senator Cox, good morning, and how are you, sir? Good morning to you.
Pleasant morning, GT, and let me also take this opportunity to say a pleasant morning to your viewers, listeners, all the fans, subscribers of GBN. I just realized today is the first I have the opportunity to start off the month, so it's a pleasure for me to be here.
That's so good. Yeah, that's so good, because, the way of things been going on these days, folks, sometimes a dear friend of mine passed on just last night and, didn't get to start the month. You understand? So sometimes it's worrying the way it is, and you are suddenly happy that you're able to start another month in God's world. Welcome, Senator Cox, once again, and thanks for taking the opportunity to be on the program this morning. As usual, I always ask him to ask any opening comment before we get into our discussion this morning. Any opening comment that you do have, if you'd like to share.
Well, thank you very much for that, GT. And coincidentally, as you speak about your loss, that is where I wanted to start this morning. Also from a Carriacou standpoint, and as a party and myself personally, over the past 6 months or so, Carriacouans have really lost, families have really been impacted, a lot of loss of loved ones. In the past couple of days, we have lost some other families have been impacted as well. And it's a tough time for me. That is my own personal assessment. I'm certain that other persons in Carriacou would feel the same way. It's a close community that we have in Carriacou here. That a number of families have really been impacted over the past 6 months or so. And it has really been a tough time for everybody. And we really want to extend general condolences to all families who have been impacted. Even my family, myself, have been impacted by this, So the strength of the Almighty, I can extend those sympathies to persons who are going through that loss now, and maybe share some ways to deal with it. It's never easy, but it's something that we have to deal with in life. So I just wanted to really put that out there, because it's like it's every day, it's just another family, and it's tough. It's just been tough for Carriacou. It's just been tough for Carriacou. So I just wanted to start off on that note.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's kick off our conversation this morning. We know, let me first ask, what's up inside of Carriacou? What's going on inside of Carriacou right now? Before we get all too deep into the conversation, we'll go. Besides the somber part you started on in terms of loss of lives and everything like that, which we do understand, what's up inside of Carriacou?
Well, I must say that Carriacou is the best place to be for the summer. Mm-hmm. And I think we have the best summer experience. So if you do have some free time, you can come over to Carriacou. And during summer we have sailing, and basically this is regatta season, and so that is what is taking place right now. Persons at the beach, we have persons who are coming home to spend some time with their family or friends, and so that is what is taking place in Carriacou right now.
All right, you mentioned it, and I would like to get into a bit of discussion about it. We're talking about the Carriacou Regatta Festival 2023. Any information you'd like to share about what's going on with that, per se, the Regatta Festival this year?
Well, for Carriacou Regatta, it's a kind of bittersweet moment for me for 2023. And maybe I could start on the sweeter side of things. It is something that I love doing. I'm an avid sailor, so I look forward to participating in sailing over this weekend. Not just sailing, but the little argument, little back and forth, I think that is where the whole joy of regatta lies. Persons challenging one another, so I look forward to that from this weekend. Also, It's one of the things that is deeply rooted in Carriacou. It forms part of our culture, and this year's celebration is 58 years, I think it is. I stand corrected there about that we celebrate in Regatta. So it is something big for Carriacou. But unfortunately, we have had some challenges. This year's Regatta seems to be not of the best standard, and so I think that is where the beta movement is for me. A number of persons have indicated to me that in terms of the organizing and events, and so there are some challenges. The persons are basically not happy and not enthusiastic about this year's Regatta. What I do know is that on the sailing part, the boatmen are doing everything that they can to get ready to ensure that they do what they have to do to contribute to their component of Carriacou's Regatta. I've been paying attention, and it's really even some of the events that they try to have, it's just not coming off as I believe as what it used to be before, and so I think that is where the issue is. I don't know what are some of the main problems are. I really can't say, but there seems to be some. We are hearing some conflict between the committee and the ministry, or some issues they have to resolve. I'm not too concerned about whatever issues they have. I think the boatmen continue to invest heavily in the festival, and I think they deserve to really get that kind of support and attention to ensure that the festival goes off in their interest. They make significant investment annually to ensure that Regatta happens. So I think whatever issues that the committee and the ministry may have, they need to have that resolved. I also noticed that even some of the events that the committee puts on, there is little or no representation by government at those events. I think I could recall one of the events, I think the official church service to comment the commencement of the Regatta season. There was no government officials present. So there may be good reasons for them not being there, but just how it looked, so persons don't feel that enthusiastic. Persons mainly coming for a greater carnival, unfortunately, and not for Carriacou Regatta. And so I think it's something that they need to address and have it repaired as quickly as possible. I'm somewhat disappointed in that regard.
All right.
On the sailing side, the boatmen are doing everything that they can to have the component ready to ensure that we have some great sailing.
All right. I know Carriacou Regatta has always been one of those Carriacou Regatta Festival has always been one of those events that stood out for Carriacou over the years. You always hear, folks from the mainland here, Grenada, moving up to Carriacou, folks from other islands of the Caribbean also coming to Carriacou Regatta, and you said the boatmen and so forth. You're saying there seems to be a bit of a low key in terms of the overall what's happening with the regatta this year. You said you don't know, but what you've been hearing on the ground that you think is initiating this kind of low key vibe, if I could say, for the Carriacou Regatta this year?
In some cases, basically nothing, because I was out of state sometime during June, and basically there were like no promotion. I'm in June, no promotion. You're not hearing anything with Regatta. I think they were planning a media launch that fell through, that didn't come off, and so a couple of things. So I think it's maybe the late planning or lack of planning, promotion, because you have to remember that persons who live in the diaspora, who have to travel, they want to know early so that they can plan, they can get the vacation early beforehand. You have Spice Mass launching all the way in May, and you're in June, and Regatta is at the end of July, just the first week in August, and you're not hearing anything. So I think that is one of the issues, one of the challenges that lies. There have always been challenges also surrounding prize monies and whether or not it's adequate enough, because investment in boat is very expensive. You have certain things like on bottle, rope, those things are not cheap. Shuttles, they are very expensive. They are stainless steel products, and they're very expensive, and the boatmen do have to invest in preparing for for the regatta. I do know that the committee gives some support together with the dock to help them ease some of the costs. They will get a couple of free days at the dock so they can dock their boat and things like that. I know they do get some support in that regard. But that is just a drop in the bucket as to the cost that goes into preparations for regatta. And so I know last year, there was an issue last year for one of our primary race, which is the Rangana race. That's a premier race, the Rangana race. And the race took a long time to start because the boatmen decided that they're not going unless they got an increase in the price. I think ministry officials came. I mean, I kind of stood away because I didn't want to get involved for obvious reasons. While I was part of the regatta as a crew, they promised, they gave a promise to increase the prices and that the boatmen will get the additional money. From my recollection as of to date, those monies were not paid. I'm not sure if the boatmen decided to forego it or whatever the case may be, but those monies were not paid. And then this year you have also a further promise to increase the prices as well. And we do hope that the government may go on that. But the boatmen would have gone ahead, from our reports, gone ahead and raise money privately for themselves to enhance the prices for that race as well. So we need to commend them in that regard for doing that. But at this point in time, I really want to recognize and highlight a few people who have made significant contributions in recent time. And maybe I might leave other people out who also need to be recognized. But there are three guys in particular who who work overseas, they work outside of Carriacou and invested in a vessel, and also to have that vessel come back on stream so it can be part of the regatta. And I really need to commend them. That is, you have Hewart McLaren, Richard McQuilkin, and Floyd Davidson. And Floyd Davidson in particular must be commended for starting a regatta, a Carriacou regatta in Pennsylvania, of his own investment. He bought boats and started a regatta, which is evolving into a big event, which I had an opportunity to participate in this year. So we really need to commend them in that regard for doing that, taking their own monies and investing to ensure that the culture remains. And so that is something that has been commended. Another person that I want to commend to, although he's an avid competitor and sometimes can be controversial, is a good friend of mine and my former boss in agriculture is Benson Batteries. When regatta comes around, he helps a lot of boatmen to get ready, and sometimes those things go unnoticed. Actually, he has established a new class for the regatta. I mean, just single-handedly built a boat. He alone just do a small boat, just take a double ender and convert it into a deck soup. I mean, so those things cannot go unnoticed. Despite whatever challenges you may have with persons, you have to recognize persons' contribution to the festival. So I must commend him for that. I used to race with him a couple of times. Well, I've already been asking for me to come back to race with him this year. I think he recognized the value in terms of me being a good tactician out there. So we'll see how that goes. Right. But I just wanted to highlight those things. But there's one more critical issue, duty that I want to raise. Now, Regatta Sunday. When you look at the schedule for Spice Mass, you have fantastic Sunday, which is the Queen Show, falling on Regatta Sunday. I am very disappointed, as I know a number of Carriacouans are disappointed that Spice Mass choose to put that event together on Regatta Sunday. I just imagine we have our own Brianna Primus taking part in the Queen Show. I mean, Carriacouans who may want to go to Grenada will now have to choose whether to stay in Carriacou for Regatta or go to Grenada for the Queen Show. I think that scheduling conflict is something that should have never happened, and I think that is something that was, I don't know if persons weren't paying attention, but we are very disappointed about that those two events had to clash. And it means that somehow Carriacou was forgotten in some cases. I want to believe, and just didn't think that having that event clash with Carriacou's Regatta Sunday is one of our biggest regatta sailing days in Carriacou Regatta, to clash with the Queen Show. I think it's an error. So I just wanted to highlight that.
All right. Certainly understand from that point. I mean, looking at the Regatta's Facebook page and looking at some of the events that I may have run off, and so already we saw we had the Carriacou Marathon. That was it, the Road Marathon. We see they have the Queen Aquaval and some of the Queen Aquaval coming up. The Miss Aquaval Teen, I should say, 2023. That is also coming up on the 3rd. That is coming Thursday. Now, with all these events that are coming up, and you also talked a while ago about of course, the conflict with the event in terms of the Queen Show here in Grenada. How do you feel this could be remedied in terms of moving forward?
Well, I cannot recall, being a former Minister of Culture, I cannot recall that event ever clashing with Carriacou's Regatta. So somebody need to relook the scheduling. And even not being the Minister of Culture, even prior to that, I can never ever recall. I know that we had clashes with Rainbow City. That was just about it. But never with a Spice Month event. I don't know what was the reason for that, but somebody really dropped the ball in terms of looking at that and seeing how that may impact Carriacou Regatta, which means that persons who may want to come to Carriacou this Sunday will now have to choose whether to stay for Queen Show or to come to Carriacou for Regatta. So that is the fact of the matter. And so I do not believe, or we do not believe that was an appropriate scheduling, and we ask the authorities to look at that, to revise that complex because it may be difficult to change that now. So, but that is a big red flag.
All right. Well, I certainly hope these little hiccups will, of course, not take place in 2024. Sometimes things just don't get thought out properly, and then we get to those little conflicts. Mr. Cock, we do it for a break. Let's take it. We come back. We should chat some more. It's to the point for today, Tuesday, the first day of August, 2023. We're coming right back after the break. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch it down.
Carriacou is the place to be. August 4th to the 7th for the 50th year of the Carriacou Regatta Festival. The Carriacou Regatta Festival, which is the longest sailing event in the region, is celebrated under the theme Timeless Culture on the Sea. Come join us for 4 days of exciting and competitive boat racing from Friday to Monday. Fun games, day and night parties, road marathon, Miss Teen Regatta, night boat cruises, the foreign artist show, donkey race, and greasy pole are some of the activities to look forward to. For more info, contact the Regatta Jooper on 473-443-7930. The Carriacou Regatta Festival 2023, August 4th to the 7th. Sail by day, party by night. Carriacou welcomes you.
The biggest party in sport is back. CPL and WCPL return with more action than ever before.
Are you kidding me?
Watch the biggest names in cricket battle it out in the race for glory.
Brilliantly. Celebrate some more.
Get your tickets now at cplt20.com or at the box office. Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Spice Up returns to Esplanade Mall Courtyard. Spice Up the Esplanade. Every Wednesday, Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Spice Up the Esplanade. Your all-in-one Spice Mass event. Get a taste of everything Carnival. From music to mass to food to fashion. All things Carnival in one place. Esplanade Mall, July 7th to August 11th. Don't you miss it.
Of course, let me get that corrected there. Let me say welcome back to our listeners and viewers this morning here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. It's To The Point for today, Tuesday, the first day of August 2023. It's Opposition Tuesday on To The Point, and we do have with you Senator Norland Cox with me this morning, and we just continue to discuss issues we put into Carriacou from an opposition point of view. Senator Cox, let's welcome back, and let's get back into the conversation this morning. I wanted to lean a little bit on infrastructure inside of Carriacou in terms of what you have been noticing taking place inside of Carriacou in terms of infrastructure from your point of view, being the opposition. I remember representing Carriacou this time around. Tell me what's going on in terms of infrastructure in Carriacou.
I could say a lot, but
you always seem to smile when we say that. You want to say a lot, and then you smile, sir.
Yeah, but I am not I don't deal with trivial stuff, So really and truly, I find it non-productive to do trivial stuff, as some other persons choose to do. So I don't deal with that.